Turn just yet. I don't know why you wanted to be your turn already. If your defense gives up 12 points, and that nobody had, he's the best QBR, has the highest completion percentage. He had not had an incompletion in the third quarter.
Nope.
He had been missed the second half.
Oh, Lordy.
What'd they get him last night?
Got him a touchdown.
It's not your turn to talk. Yes, I'm talking now.
Well, you said.
I'm talking now.
He still hasn't had an incomplete in the third quarter.
He had an opportunity, Skip Bayless. 3 chances in the fourth quarter, down 2 points. All he needs is a field goal. He doesn't need a touchdown. No run, no win. You see what happens, Skip Bayless? Dak Prescott has the highest completion percentage. He's almost perfect when it goes play action to throwing the ball. Great completion percentage and touchdown. But guess what happens when you can't run the football? All of a sudden, them linebackers like, hey, that front four going to handle that run. Let me get back to my drop. Let me get into this hook. Let me worry about these over routes. And they took all that away. What happened to your boy Mark Cooper last night? Anyway, Skip Bayless.
Is it my turn?
No, it's not
you
your turn.
You asked me a question. I think he just gave up the floor.
No.
Not yet.
The guy that was completing 80% of his passes, there were 2 3rd and 2s. DJ, can you drop that track for me? Skip, I don't normally call for video. I don't like cop. I don't like to do this, Skip. You can call for whatever you want to. Hey, DJ, drop this track right quick for me. On 3rd and 2. Look at this right here. 3rd and 2. What kind of 3rd and 2? 3rd and 2.
You know what? Can I respond to that?
Oh,
that was
Lord.
one of his best throws of the night. He led him upfield so he could turn and run for 10 more yards. And Randall Cobb got 2 hands on the ball. Shannon Sharp gets 2 hands on the ball. He catches it. That was exactly where he aimed it.
No, Skip.
He threw it to him to turn upfield. I tweeted it immediately. He has to turn and run. And he was looking to run with it and flat out took his eyes off. I'm happy you showed that video. That was one of his smartest throws of the night.
If he turns and runs, Marcus Latimer is going to.
Nope.
It's cover 2. He would get decapitated.
Sorry, you blew it again. Thank you for showing that video. Next one.
Skip.
What's the next video?
Skip.
I don't know. Did you say you had 2 3rd and 2s?
Skip, why would
Show
you
me
argue?
another one.
Skip, why would you argue
Show
with
me.
that?
I love it.
Go ahead, talk.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What's your other 3rd
I'm
and
done.
2?
I'm done.
Seriously?
Because you're trying to argue cover with me.
No, I know coverage. I know what that throw was. He led him upfield, and Randall Cobb took his eyes off the ball because he was looking to run 5 more yards with it.
Skip, just hear me out. They put Zeke out. They walked Zeke out. They left Latimer on it. It's a zone coverage.
Okay,
They're playing cover 2. If they
Led him upfield.
Okay, go
Chris
ahead.
Collinsworth said, you know what? Randall's going to want that one back because it hit him right in the hand.
Go ahead, Skip.
Got to make that.
Go ahead.
catch.
Joker.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
lay
go
it
ahead.
on.
You've interrupted me the whole time. You're upset the Cowboys lost. Go ahead.
No, I'm not upset. I'm actually very happy.
Go ahead.
My turn. Thank you very much. So, somebody across from me, to start with, predicted that Teddy Bridgewater's offense would score how many points? 30 points,
They
said
won.
Shannon Sharp. 30 points?
So now you want to make it seem
They
like
scored 12.
How many did your offense score?
Oh, but I predicted 20-17 to Dallas because I said it would be a low-scoring game just the way it was.
But you
13-10.
You predicted a win.
Okay,
You
but I'm just
predicted a
saying,
win.
you said 30 points, and my defense held them to 12. And I'm excited about my defense. I'm excited about Robert Quinn because I saw a Super Bowl defense emerging last night. I'm very happy and very proud of the way my defense performed because it's hard to contain Alvin Kamara the way they contained him.
They contained him?
It's hard to contain Michael Thomas the way they contained him.
They contained him?
Yep.
9 for 95. He had more catches.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, it's hard. So now let's get to number 2. Yes, I lost 2 cases of Diet Dew, but I basically conceded both cases on Friday and on Thursday and on Wednesday because I told you Amari Cooper had an MRI on Tuesday. The results were quote-unquote negative, but the result to me was not positive because if you have an MRI, you got something wrong with your ankle. And I know Amari Cooper, the sweetest route runner in pro football. He could not burst out of his breaks last night. He was struggling with Marshawn Lattimore. He became the hero of the game because he couldn't push off of his ankle. And I told you going in, we are going to be limited with Amari, and we didn't have Michael Gallup. And I cannot wait to see New Orleans in the playoffs because we could go back down there with a healthy Amari and a healthy Michael Gallup and a healthy Drew Brees.
Y'all making the playoffs?
Well, I'm just saying. Well, I love my team.
Y'all making the playoffs? Hold on now.
And now let's get to the New Orleans defense last night.
Lord.
I told you all week, Drew Brees does not play defense. That is the same unit that a majority of the prognosticators picked to win the NFC. It was partially because of Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas on offense, but it was also 50% the defense that can start 4 players drafted in the first round across the defensive front. You ever see anything like that? They got 4, all 4 across the front drafted in the first round. This will be Dallas's toughest defensive test of the year. You wait and see.
Because
And
Lord
again,
knows
they have
Philly's
to play
not going to be it.
at Chicago and at New England. But this will be toughest because this was, as I told you all week, a revenge game for the New Orleans defense. Because the New Orleans defense, as Cam Jordan said after the game, they were told all week, you guys got your asses kicked in Dallas last year because you got out-physicaled by the Dallas Cowboys. So New Orleans at New Orleans, with that defense lit by that crowd of Cowboy-hating fans, and trust me, I've covered many Cowboy games in New Orleans. It is the toughest place they have to play because it's neighboring state, it's bordering state, and they hate Dallas even worse than the Eagles or the Giants or the Redskins hate Dallas. So it is crazy in there. And when Amari can't get out of his breaks with any burst, what happened last night, Shannon Sharp? What was Amari called for twice? Pass interference, offensive pass interference. I will bet you in his career he's never been called for offensive pass interference because he is such a great route runner. He doesn't need it. No, he can't burst. He can't get out. I said, I tweeted it from the start. It's obvious he's limited.
No liquor license, no Bourbon Street.
Yeah, there you go. So that leads me to my quarterback. Dak Prescott last night, would you believe, you said he was to blame for most of this, would you believe he had the 4th best QBR in the whole league yesterday of a 77? And it was only a tick off your guy, Mahomeboy, and we're going to talk about him in a few minutes, who had kind of a shaky game at Detroit, but it was just a tick behind him. It could have been 3rd. Guess who was 2nd? Chase Daniel was 2nd. He barely played.
He had a better QBR than Baker Mayfield.
He did.
Let that sink in for a second. So that just lets you know what QBR.
Yeah.
How about this?
I thought it was Mike.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Dak Prescott still leads the National Football League.
All right, man. Enough of that. Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business, and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up. And let me actually say welcome back to all of the Eagles and giant cockroaches that are now coming around. They're coming out the woodwork now. You know, it's amazing how my numbers were going down. I was wondering what happened. Yes, Victor, we love you too. But, dude, Victor, I don't want to get into it with you tonight, man. But some of the things you say cross the line. You know, I like you and everything else, but, you know, racism and, you know, being basically a dog in heat is no longer going to be accepted. I'm forewarning you now. You know, you talked about my daughter. You talk about my wife. You talk about other things. Dude, you got to get your shit together. Okay? And if you're doing that stuff for attention, you won't be getting attention for much longer because you will be blocked. All right? Now, listen. My Cowboys lost. I got no problem with people talking about my Cowboys within reason. But personal attacks will not be accepted here. Okay? We can talk about, you know, Carson Wheelchair Wentz and the Eagles and their defense that are challenged and things like that. Okay? I got no problem with that. You can talk about my quarterback and things like that, you know, within reason. We're not going to go get into racism or anything like that. Okay? All right? But, you know, we're going to be cool. All right? All right? So I know you Eagle fans are feeling emboldened. You're feeling good right now because you got the victory over Aaron Rodgers, and, you know, the Cowboys didn't get a win. You know, we got that. We okay. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our Dallas Cowboys and stuff and where we go. Because the crazy thing is, Now that might be Victor. I will give you the benefit of the doubt because have been some fake ones out there. There was a fake Katie call it. There was a fake Arondo Holmes, which is my brother, out there. So it is possible that somebody would fake you. So if the fake one comes in here starting some shit, he will get blocked, and it won't be you. So we got to handle some business here with our Cowboys. We got good news and bad news today. Tyron Smith, we all saw him go down, and all of a sudden, your heart goes in your throat. I was worried about ACL. Shout out to Amos over here on Facebook, as well as all the other fans that are over on Facebook. I appreciate you guys coming in. I see, we got the troll to end all trolls. See, I love how all the trolls just come up out the sewer the minute the Cowboys lose to talk some smack, because Kevin Milton, of course, he's got the good old crackhead. You got any more of those bad teams, memes and stuff like that. I don't know how somebody like that actually considers himself a Dallas Cowboy fan, because you literally lay in wait until one or two plays or a game that's bad to go ahead and disrespect your own team. I'm not sure how that is a fan of the team. But, you do you. But we have so many fans that are like, Dak Prescott lost that game. The Cowboys suck. I'm done. This team is a bunch of losers. Oh, no. Yes, Michael. I got all kinds today. I got all kinds. Well, here's my whole thing. We had some bad things happen yesterday. Let me ask you this, guys. When you go to work every day, are you on the tip top of your game? Do you ever go to work and, you just kind of have a brain fart and something happens, Like if you're building cars that maybe you didn't get that screw tight enough, and that ends up being, the lemon that they made the lemon law about? Or maybe you're in class one day, you kind of sleep through the quiz, or you didn't study like you should and you fail the test. It's kind of like a bad day. You know what I'm saying? Bad day. Bad days happen. So understand that happens on the football field. But I loved how everybody who's just been laying and, they've been quiet. But they've just been waiting to come back around. Well, the Redskins control. Okay, yeah, he's hurting. He's on life support. He's just happy to be alive. He's not worried about crawling around. He's just like, I'm just happy to still be here. Lenny, I have no idea why they didn't play Pollard. It felt like we hopped in a time machine and we went back to Scott Linehan days. I'm not sure if this was one of those ones where, oh man, I hate to go back here like this. Oh, okay, I tell you what. I'm going to change the subject for a second. I want to get to the injuries. Tyron Smith, who I worried about it being an ACL. And it ends up being a high ankle sprain, which is something that can be like, 2 to 8 weeks. Apparently, it's not that bad. They're looking at him being out for this week and maybe back the next week, which I think is the Jets. So, you know what? I would almost say, hey, if it's the Jets, rest him another game and keep him going for down the road. So it's not as bad as it looked last night. What is bad is Kevon Frazier. Kevon Frazier is going to have surgery tomorrow on a pectoral muscle that's torn. Special team stand-up, backup safety. He's gone for the season. He's going to be put on IR. That one also hurts as well because that's some of your depth that you have. And we are kind of banged up when it comes to safety. We're not as bad as, say, the Eagles. And say, I'm seeing all these fly. Yes, I see you. I see you. I see y'all. I see you. I see you, Eagles. You get a win, and I'm not going to say, Eagles, congratulations, because you went to Lambeau Field and you got a game. But you can't honestly feel that great about that game because you had a few breaks in there that, that the Green Bay Packers couldn't run the football at all. That you got that punt return and you got that strip fumble. That's the only two reasons why you won that game. And when you look at that defense that you got, and you guys are out there trying to get cornerbacks like a mother, offering 2 first round, not 1 but 2. You know, they talked about us spending a 1 for Amari Cooper. You're talking about giving up 2 for a cornerback. You know, so you still got problems. You still got problems, and we'll have to wait and see when we play each other. Because all you fans that are out there that we suck and everything else, understand this. Back this thing up. 3 wins is the maximum that anybody's got in the NFC right now. Take a look at the Rams. The Rams all of a sudden forgot that they have Todd Gurley, who they paid a boatload of money for. He got the ball 5 times. Now, Jared Goff, you know, he got 400-some yards, but they threw the ball like 68 times. Against Tampa Bay. They lost to Tampa Bay. Take a look at New England. And in fact, let's take a look at quarterback play in general yesterday. Quarterback play yesterday was not very good. Jared Goff, 45 out of 68, 517 yards, little touchdown. Thank you very much for that. Super chat. But 2 TDs, 3 interceptions, and a fumble loss. An 80 QBR. Aaron Rodgers, he threw for 422 yards. But again, a 93 QBR and a loss. Matty Ice, you know what? Brethren must have just I can't believe that he's no longer sending me emails because he kept telling me how good his team is. And I'm sorry, they some sorry somebodies. 397 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and 88. What I want you to notice, too, by the way, is these 3 biggest performances, yardage-wise, were all in losses. Some of that was trying to catch up. But the amazing thing is you go down, all the way down. I know Dak wasn't good. You know, wasn't great. Nothing to write home about. But he wasn't the sole reason why we lost. But you go down. Teddy Bridgewater only had 193 yards. But you go way, way down. Deshaun Watson, he only had 160 yards. And where's Tom? Where's Tom Brady? Wait. Tom Brady, where are you? Carson Wentz only had 160. Oh, there he is. Tom Brady. Right here. Oh, lost it. Tom Brady, 150 yards and an interception. Difference is, his team got a couple of plays that ended up winning the game for him. That's the difference. Now, if this was us losing to Tampa Bay, I would lose my mind right now. And I've seen some people that are mad. My man Shango, brother from another mother, he went off. You know, check out Shango. Shango was like, this is the disgrace. This is terrible. This is disgusting. I can't believe it. And, you know, we had an opportunity. We had an opportunity. But when so many things went wrong with this game, and a lot of things did, you know, you don't expect Jason Witten, a future Hall of Famer, to have that fumble on that 3rd down and long. You don't expect that call where I swear that elbow was down to me. That was a bad call. And I'm not putting the game on it because the reality is the difference of winning and losing is about this much. Excuse me, about this much. That's all it is. It really is that much. And sometimes you get a break or two because most games will come down to about 3 or 4 plays. And that's the difference in it. Jason Witten doesn't fumble that ball. We go down, we get a touchdown. We win that game. If Zeke Elliott on that 4th down doesn't have that fumble, we win that game. There's a couple of things. Oh, if the clock had stopped at about 5 minutes left in the game when the guy went out of bounds, we might have had enough time to win that game. But all of these things, community, added up. And even with all these things happening, the Cowboys turning the ball over 3 times, which is something they haven't done all year. we still had a chance. We were never out of this game. We were never out of this game. And that's the thing that you need to understand. Because there's going to be some losses. You look at me, I said 11-5 is what this team would go. 11-5. And I stick by the 11-5. Because you're going to have games that are like that. And understand, New Orleans are some bad mofos in New Orleans. That is the truth. You were fighting a couple of things. One, we started believing our own hype. That offense, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is doing some incredible things. He's the new boy genius. Zeke Elliott, he's starting out better than usual. Dak Prescott, he's perfect in the third quarter. One of the top quarterbacks, getting paid. We started listening to that stuff, and sometimes I know the players say we don't listen to it, but you start believing that and figuring we got to show up. Just have to show up. We got this. But sometimes it's good to get bitch slapped and brought back to reality. Oh, DeMario Davis is fake. No. Victor, you about to get banned, man. Don't talk about DeMario. DeMario was my enemy yesterday, but he's my boy. Victor, you know what? I don't usually do this, Victor. But you know what? You're trying my patience tonight. Boom, Victor. I did that. The next time when you come back, you do something, you'll be gone, okay? Permanently, all right? I told you I'm not taking any crap from you. Seriously. But here's what we were fighting on this New Orleans team. New Orleans felt robbed last year, and rightfully so. That team should have been in the Super Bowl and probably would have beaten New England. They have a chip on the shoulder. When I talked to DeMario this offseason, it's like, yeah, man. No, you know what? He's like, we ain't even worried about that anymore. We are focused in on one thing, and that is getting this ring. Second thing, they still had a bad taste in their mouth losing to the Cowboys last year after going 10 games straight. Because they don't like the Cowboys at all. Period. Okay? Third thing, you have a team that has come together because Drew Brees is hurt. That's our boy. We're going to win this. We're going to hold serve until we get him back. And, of course, after them playing the way they played, and everybody saying, oh, New Orleans, they don't have Drew Brees. Oh, they can't win. Their season's done and over with. That's when you turn things, whoa. We're going to show them how stupid they are. We're going to show them. So the Cowboys walked into a buzzsaw. And an interesting thing, somebody had said, and I didn't see it myself, but Sean Payton had said that with this officiating staff that they were 8-1. Yeah, well, they're 9-1 with that officiating staff because there were some calls in there that just kind of said, what?
Holding on that call on Mark Cooper.
Twice.
No, the second one, when the guy was all over, draped all over.
So we had all of those things. And with all of that going on, we still had a chance. So I'm not going to lose my mind over that loss. Now, as I look at what we got this week, we got the bad man, Aaron Rodgers. And we don't know how bad Aaron, they got a couple extra days rest. But Aaron got hit in that wrist. You don't know how bad that is on Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron, of course, the first 3 weeks of the season, they looked really good on their defense and stuff. But Philly, with the running game, really exposed that. Because when you start thinking about Green Bay, well, they played, Green Bay played the Bears. They played the Vikings. And, of course, the Eagles. And you look at the Bears and the Vikings, both of those teams are kind of challenged offensively. So was it the Green Bay Packers defense being that great? Or was it you were playing some bad competition? Now, don't get me wrong, Eagles. I'm going to give you credit that Carson Wentz, he's a good quarterback. He's not everything that everybody says. When Colin Cowherd says that, don't expect much from Dak Prescott, he's not Carson Wentz. I'm sorry, I don't see, where Carson Wentz is bringing people back and putting teams on his shoulder. Yes, they won on Thursday night against Green Bay, but that was more of Green Bay ended up not being able to convert down in the red zone twice. But we'll see, because we have the opportunity, because we got to play them twice. And so I welcome back all of you Fly Eagles Fly, because you know what? I welcome it. I welcome the trash talking. But do me a favor. Do me one favor here. If you're an Eagle fan, if you're a Giants fan who now has new life because you've got 2 wins, that you're actually at 500, something that nobody thought you guys would be able to do, hats off to you. Hats off to you. Slow clap to all you Giants fans. Do me one favor. Everybody knows I am here every day. Every single day. I talk the talk and I walk the walk. When we lose, I man the F up. So if you, Eagle, Giant, New Orleans, Green Bay Packer fan, if you want to come in here and talk the talk, don't just do it when things are good. Man up all the time. Because I can respect a guy like Philly 500. He's a dingbat. He's got his silly dances and stuff. That beard and all that's a little crazy. But you know what? He is a grown-ass man that will be there, win or lose. That is a true fan. But one thing I cannot stand is that fan that only comes around when the Cowboys lose and their team wins. That's what I mean by cockroaches. So if you're going to come in here and talk trash to me today, friends, you better damn sight be there when your team loses. That's the only thing that I ask. So if you want to bring it, bring it. Give it to me. Tell me my team stinks. But I believe my team will actually get refocused. That I believe that they realize there's a little sense of urgency here. Things aren't as easy as we thought. We got to make sure we show up every day. And I tell you what, I think the Cowboys have another opportunity against New Orleans because they ain't going nowhere. Thoughts of them having their season over? Oh, they were wrong. And all of you Cowboy fans here that are like, screw Dak, don't pay the guy, bench him, take a look around the NFL right now and tell me what quarterback out there doesn't have a bad game. Pat Mahomes came back to earth yesterday. Pat Mahomes got into a shootout with the Lions. The Lions. Derek Freeman, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, Derek, I tell you what, I know that stadium's loud. Okay, there's a couple of places. Now, I haven't been to Kansas City. That's one of those things I'd like to do before I die. But I've been to the Mercedes-Benz Dome. And when New Orleans gets in there drunk, that place ain't no joke. There and Seattle, those are two places that are hell to play. And anybody who thinks that New Orleans is a pushover, understand, they went and beat Seattle last week. Seattle, on the road. And understand, That team in 4 weeks. Stello! How you doing, man? Thank you very much for the super chat. Michael just turned. Wow.
Well, did I turn it too much?
You turned it too much? No, not that. You turned the lights.
I heard there's so much stuff in the way.
Blinded by the light. No, can you turn it to Joe? There we go. Whoa. There's you guys basically see me and this stuff here, but there's lights that are in the ceiling that shine down, and then there's other LED lights that are around. And so Michael is going around carrying. You got some gumbo? What you got? Okay, he's got some chicken pasta. So he's trying to go past the lights and the camera and everything else, and he's kind of turned it, and it's just like I feel like a deer in the headlights. But thank you guys for the super chats. Seattle, the good kind of trash to Mark. Recycle plastic bottles and bags. Bird Gang, I'm not sure I understood that one. Raid, okay. If that is true, I give you credit. You're 1 in a million. What? Rome? You mean that I'm here, win, lose, or draw? Hey, I tell you what. I remember having a Facebook bet with Tom Donnelly, the moron, and it was a Eagles-Cowboys game, and it was a Facebook profile picture, and there's an Eagle fan who's holding up a sign that says I'm a moron. So the bet was, if I lose, I'd have to put my face on that and have that for a week. And I did. I manned up. And, when my team, if my team loses, hey, I gave credit to New Orleans. New Orleans beat us. I'm not going to, there were some things that hurt us. Stella, make sure I read your last super chat. Okay, let me go back. You can't RPO when you can't run, but I'm going to discount my Cowboys, just a little stumble. Well, okay. As I dissect the game, and I haven't gone back and looked at it, and that's one of the things that makes it a little bit harder when you're live streaming the game, because you're trying to carry on the conversation, you're trying to talk, you're trying to be the host and all that. You can't get in where you're just sitting there actually watching the game. So I'll go through when I have some time this week on Game Pass and just watch the condensed version of the plays and stuff. But what I do know is this. We did things differently this week than we did before. Teddy Bridgewater beats you pathetic. Teddy Bridgewater beat Russell Wilson as well. Teddy Bridgewater also beat the Texans as well. So, slow your roll. I won't say Teddy Bridgewater beat me. I will say the New Orleans team beat me. Because here's the thing. This is actually a perfect example. Let me give you a perfect example right now. The difference in coaching makes on a team. Remember in 2015, we had a team that was coming off the playoffs, catch no catch away from, going to the championship game, NFC championship game. And we lose our quarterback. We lose Tony Romo. And we had a guy, Brandon Wheaton, who had been on the team for 2 years. 2 years, he should at least know our system. We had the best offensive line in football, at least the year before. We had the 4th-rated rushing attack in the NFL. Brandon Wheaton didn't do anything for us. Then we had Matt Castle, a guy who, in New England, he won some games. He was a Pro Bowler in Kansas City. With that offensive line, with that rushing attack, he couldn't do anything but win one game. And you have to sit there and say to yourself, wait a minute, you had a guy in your system for 2 years, and you couldn't coach him into one game? You had a guy who had been to playoffs before. You couldn't get him to win a game, right? The team fell apart because they didn't change and adapt their style to the players they had on there. Here's the difference. You take a Sean Payton who understands I've got to do some things differently. I've got my backup quarterback in there basically as a wildcat. I'm doing flea flickers. I'm doing double reverses. I'm doing some things to give my team an advantage over the other team. I understand Teddy Bridgewater is not Drew Brees, but I've got talent around. So now we got 3 of them. I've got talent around, so let me use the things that I have to get me a victory. And that's what they did. That's where a coach understands what he has to do to make his team survive. On the flip side, we seem to go backwards in our play calling. Because what had worked for us was we did a lot of play action. But it seemed like to me, we kept trying to run Zeke straight up the middle every single time. He was getting about 2.7 yards per carry. And Zeke Elliott, going against New Orleans, has never done anything. He's had 82 carries for like 240 yards. That comes out around less than 3 yards a carry against New Orleans. New Orleans has his number. We can't run with that. So you have to understand, okay, they're going to crowd that, then we've got to do the play action even more than before. Where we were running about 43% of the time play action and being deadly on it, we dropped down to about 20. We went less than what we were doing last year in that game, and I'm kind of wondering, the fuck? What happened? Was that one of those ones where, I hate to say this, and I thought we had moved past this, but it seems like under Jason Garrett, regular season for the most part, we coach some really great games. We score a lot of points. We do well. We win. But for some reason, when we'd get into the big games like when you're 8-7 and need a win to get into playoffs, or you get to the playoffs, sometimes it seems like your sphincter muscle tightens up really, really tight. And all of a sudden, you forget about what you were doing before. And that's what I kind of felt like last night, that we got tight. Now, I don't know if Jason Garrett was putting some emphasis on, Kellen Moore saying, listen, this isn't the Washington Redskins. This isn't the New York Giants. This is on the road. It's going to be loud in there. It's going to be hard to hear. So we just want to go ahead and use our offensive line and just run the ball. I don't know that. And we won't know that for sure. But I have a feeling that there was some input in there. Tyron Smith, the good news is it's a high ankle sprain, but they're not thinking it's as bad as first thought. They're thinking that maybe it's just a 1 week that he misses, which is good. Gibbs, no, it's not 6 to 8. No. You've got the Green Bay Packers and you've got the Jets. I would say err on the side of caution. If it's the Jets, I'm okay with Cam Fleming being out there as opposed to having to rush Tyron Smith, because I need Tyron Smith for the long haul. And understand, listen, it's one game. Little touchdown. Thank you very much for the super chat. Why am I the only one feeling that we are beating the refs? Or beating ourselves. I'm sorry, beating ourselves. That was one of those ones that a couple of plays here and there would have made the difference. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buck the curve here. I'm actually going to tell you, I was actually happy about a couple of things. I think about this. New Orleans went to Seattle and kicked Seattle's ass. We played like crap, and we still were in the game. But what I really and truly love was Robert Quinn. Robert frickin' Quinn is beasting right now. He's only played 2 games, and he's got 3 sacks. 3 sacks, 6 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss in 2 games. In context, hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically, that he plays like that for the 14 games this season. Right now, he's on pace with 14 games for 42 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss, and 21 sacks. That's beasting. Now, a lot of people are saying, we paid DeMarcus Lawrence that $21 million, and I will say that I'm concerned about him having a slow start because of the shoulder injury. He couldn't do the OTAs and the mini camps and things like that, and he only got to training camp that last week, and you really didn't do that much hitting. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence's other shoulder is a bit sore, but they think that that's kind of minor. Hopefully, DeMarcus Lawrence will continue to come on. And with Robert Quinn all of a sudden being that guy, and it makes you say, basically, Randy Gregory who? With him playing that well, you look at that and say, okay, if you're a defensive coordinator, now you got to say, we may need to go ahead and keep the tight end to help chip that guy. Or we're going to have to keep the running back in. If he continues to play like that, that's going to help your defense even more, which means if DeMarcus Lawrence gets back to where he was last year or the year before, and you got Robert Quinn, you can't double cover both of them. Somebody's going to get free. Keepsake, thank you very much for that super chat. Little touchdown, thank you very much. Yeah, and DeMarcus Lawrence, and truth be told, little touchdown, DeMarcus Lawrence actually gets a lot of his sacks on stunts. They'll do stuff where they'll take the defensive tackle and they'll basically have him rush to the outside, basically towards the tackle. And they'll bring DeMarcus Lawrence in there, and it'll be a speed rush. Robert Quinn, he's just a beast that can get around the edge. He is just fast as hell. Well, Keepsake, thank you very much about my setup. Well, I appreciate the donation. I've got some other things that I'm going to do. I'm going to get a new one of the Curve 4K screens here, so that way, I know the Eagles fans are thinking that they're not going to lose another game. I know that they think that they got it made now. It's going to be an easy road right on into the playoffs and the Super Bowl and all that. But when it's time, we will see Philly 500 on that 4K screen here, okay? That 4K screen, see those tears just running down those eyes. So I appreciate those super chats, because all that goes to helping support the channel and do some upgrades and things, as well as too, if you want to get T-shirts, that's another way to help support the channel too. My man Brian from SoCal has made some great designs and stuff, and my friend Tony, who's also a T-shirt designer, I'm going to talk about him on another show and stuff. He's actually gone through and taken care of actually doing some stuff, because I'm just technology challenged. I just don't know how to convert the pictures and this, that, and the other. So we actually have a lot of different designs and stuff, from Cow Patty to CSI Joe Boo, and we even have a Joe Boo star that you guys will really, really love. And if you do decide that you want to get a Joe Boo shirt, if you go DAC 4 today and tomorrow's the last day of that promotion, you'll get 20% off on it. So if you want some, it's Cowboy Joe Boo on Teespring. There we go. Michael is literally crawling across the floor, and he hooked himself on the camera. Okay, so next time what I got to do is just move the chair out of the way before I start live streaming, so Michael Anthony can get in. But that's what I'm happy about. Our defense, listen, we're averaging giving up about 13.7 points a game. Thus far, that's pretty good. We'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. Dan, thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate that. We'll see what happens this week with Aaron Rodgers, the bad man. They can't run the football, so it's going to be hopefully a lot of pass rushing, and hopefully Robert Quinn will be beasting and feasting on him. And that's where a lot of you guys are really upset. I know, God, it would have been nice to be 4-0, to be the only team 4-0 in the NFC. But look across the board. You got the Rams at 3-1, and you look at them and say they don't have a defense. Tampa Bay scored 55 points on them. That defense isn't as strong as it used to be. Their running a game is not as strong as it used to be. It's right now, it's Pass and Sean McVay. Seattle's got Russell Wilson, who's really good, but you look at Seattle and say that defense isn't as good as it was. They've got some flaws. 49ers, yeah, they're 3-0. They're off this week, but are you really sold on Jimmy Garoppolo and that team? They're playing that fourth-place schedule. When they start playing the Rams in Seattle, I think it might be a little different. You look at the NFC North. Minnesota's got Kirk Cousins. And right now, Minnesota is looking like, oh, God, what are we going to do about Kirk Cousins? Because he's getting $29 million next year, guaranteed. So that die is already cast with them, and they don't seem to be doing much of anything. The Bears, Mitch Trubisky, separated shoulder. Not that he was doing anything before the shoulder was separated. They got a great defense. Khalil Mack, he's going to go in there against the Raiders this week and probably bitch slap them. But you don't look at the Bears and say, that's a juggernaut offensively that can do much. And you got Green Bay. Green Bay cannot stop the run. And they can't run the football. Meh. Then you go, of course, to our division. Well, you got the Eagles, which division team, division games are always tough. But you look at that defense of theirs, unless they get Jalen Ramsey, that secondary of theirs is a mess, and they are injured, really injured. The Giants, they're 2-2, but come on, they're the Giants. Go to the NFC South. You got New Orleans. They're pretty good. Carolina, nah. Atlanta, although maybe Tampa Bay might be a little something to worry about. So don't get pissed off. Think about the NFC in general right now. It's going to be a matter of who's hot at the right time. The best teams, Cowboys, New Orleans, not necessarily in that order, Eagles, Rams, Seattle, and I'm not ready to put anybody from the NFC North in that category right now. Do you honestly look at anybody other than New Orleans? And I will dare say that New Orleans is the best team right now in the NFC. And and if somebody thinks something else-wise, give me a reason why. Because I look at it like this way. If you're looking at New Orleans, that defense has played 4 playoff teams to start the season. Texans, Rams, Seattle, and Cowboys. That is a hell of a defense. And coaching, and that's the difference between Jason Garrett and Sean Payton. Sean Payton understands how you work with different people. He's got Alvin Kamara. He's got good wide receivers. He's got people that he can still plug somebody in and get by while Drew Brees isn't there. That's not something the Cowboys have been able to do under Jason Garrett. And that's where you got to look at and say coaching. They got some good coaching. So let me go through some of these comments. Because you watched the game, Kathy? Because you watched the game with the Eagles. With Teddy Means, so you're talking about a Howell team? Oh, good for you. Anybody who thinks that New Orleans isn't a good team doesn't really know football. Okay, when was how many people win in Seattle? Think about that. They went to Seattle and they won. Not just, offensively. Their defense picked up a fumble and took it all the way. Their special teams, they went in there and kicked their ass. We are 1 month in. That's my reason why. That was last week. Yeah, Adam. And guess what? They've done pretty good against teams that were in the playoffs last year. Quinn Lacey, amen. Losses happen. Adversity leads to strength and resiliency. I agree with you on that. And that's, somehow, with some of our, Victor, why are you a dumbass? Seriously. Don't come in here with just stupid shit, man. Please. Victor, everybody, Victor, always goes, he's blocked my channel. He's an idiot. And I try so hard to work with you. You know, you're kind of like that pet project and things. You know, you are that cat that's got one eye and his leg is messed up and all that, and everybody's like, man, just put that thing to sleep. It's not worth saving. Put him out of his misery. Put him out of all of our misery. But no, I'm like, no. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. He's got 3 legs and 1 eye, and it smells bad. I'm gonna try and save him. That's what I've been trying to do with you, man. Oh my God, but Victor, you make it so hard. God, you make it hard. Law Nation, shout out to Law. What's going on tonight, Law? I agree with you 100% that we have a little ways to go. You know, the thing is, we have, here's the thing I look at. We have things we could have corrected in that game. Point blank. You played a good team on the road, hostile environment. Jason Witten's not going to fumble all the time. You're not going to get these phantom fumbles all the time with Zeke Elliott. Hopefully Amari Cooper's foot is okay, so he's able to get back to where he was. To me, this is more of a blip on the radar and are things that can be changed. And I also think that the team is also going to realize that we need to do a little bit better on the play calling where we did there on this one as opposed to the other ones. So these are things that are correctable. This isn't the Washington Redskins, who have a completely dumbass coach, who have no real quarterback, who have no talent. There's a difference between that and when you look at the guys that we have. We got guys that can play football. It's a matter now of putting them in positions to win. And I'll give you somebody else's take on this as well. I thought this was actually kind of fitting here.
We're a quarter of the way through the season. We can have this talk.
Quick.
I'll find some silver lining with the Cowboys.
Okay, good.
After
a loss.
After the loss. And I know that everybody's sitting at home saying, see, I told you they weren't for real. Dak Prescott was just playing for money. Zeke's just okay. Amari Cooper got shut down. Jason Witten's too old. Blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. When it comes to the mistakes that they made, which were crucial, they can fix those things. Jason Witten had a fumble in the middle of the field. He's pretty sure-handed. I know he's going to protect the ball next time he's in that situation. That Ezekiel Elliott fumble, I don't know what you saw, but I saw an elbow down on the ground and the ball get ripped out late. That can go either way moving forward. And then the interception towards the end of the game, of course, you're just throwing that up for a Hail Mary pass. So with all those things said, they had 2 turnovers in the first 3 games. And then they go into this game and have 3 turnovers. These things are corrected. And then you lost to a very motivated, very talented Saints team that won a revenge.
Didn't score a touchdown and was without Drew Brees. I can't this morning wake up in good conscience and say that there's promising things from the Cowboys. They lost Tyron Smith, their left tackle. Like, Nate, that was a bad night last night for the Cowboys. You feel good about them today?
I feel good about them. What did the Saints do after they got punched in the mouth last year?
They responded.
They responded, and that's exactly what the Cowboys are going to do. Sometimes you got to taste a little blood in your mouth to move forward.
We're a quarter of the
There you go. And I have to agree with that 100% because you remember when you get punched in the mouth, you don't want that feeling again. You're going to go all out to make sure that that shit don't happen again. And that's where I'm like, okay, it was not fun to lose that game. I'll be the first one to say that, damn, I was mad about it. I completely mad. I didn't want to lose that game. But you could be in a lot worse shape. You could have gotten blown out. You could have looked like a complete disgrace. And we didn't. Did I see what Shannon Sharp had on the show? Well, I saw bits and pieces of it. Keepsake, thank you very much for the super chat. If I ever need any artwork done, okay. All right, Keepsake. You can email me at cowboysmark94@gmail, and we'll check it out. I think we very well could see the Saints in the playoffs. Yeah, and that was a point that about that crew. Only one game had the Saints lost with that crew, so that's kind of an interesting telltale sign there. It's good though. I think it'll be a week of, yeah, Dak trolls and they're out. They're out and they're having a ball. Have I ever been to a game in Pittsburgh? No, I've been to their training camp. I've been by their stadium, but I've actually never gone to a game in Pittsburgh. I've been to games in New York, Indianapolis, Detroit, many in Detroit, Washington, Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, of course AT&T. That's right, I'm a Cowboy fan that's been to Texas. Houston, Arizona. What have I left out? I think that's all the ones I've been to. Kmart 63. I don't answer your emails. I try and email me again, because I don't, on that Gmail account, I don't get that many emails, and unless it's something that I'm kind of scared of, because there's some of those ones you look at and say, okay, that might be a little spammy. I try to answer them as much as possible. Not necessarily Dallas Cowboys for life. If the Cowboys and Saints meet again, it'll be in Dallas. Because right now, they hold a tiebreaker against us if we end up, unless we end up having a better record than them. They hold a tiebreaker against us. So we're 3-1, but technically we're half a game behind them. Oh, right now, I like our defense. Here's what I want to see. If we can actually get our defense playing like they did last night and get our offense playing like we had some of the first games, you get both of those together, it's over with. We have to put together a whole complete game. One of the other things, too, and I forgot when I was talking about Robert Quinn, that I really liked was, everybody was going to him saying, hey, man, you're having a great start to the season and everything else. Your stats are through the roof. But basically, and I'm summarizing this, he went through and said, it doesn't really matter if we don't win the football game, because it's really about beating the team. And I have to say amen to that. And that's where I like to think, I don't know because I'm not in the locker room, but Jerry, if you want to make me, and Joe Boo part of the locker room, Joe Boo doesn't take a whole lot of space up. So, Austin's not real big. You could just put Joe Boo like in the top of his locker, because I don't think Austin is really using that space up there. And that could be like Joe Boo's spot. I'm just saying, it won't cost you much, Jerry. Just some good rum and cigars. But I like to think that this team, after this game, will go through and kind of man up and come together. The thing I loved about last year was, remember, we started out 3-5, and we looked dismal. We looked like some shit. Excuse my language, Joseph. But this team stuck together and played together as a team. And so I think that they'll go through last night, they'll look at this and say, you know what? We got to do better than what we did. We have to play better than that. And it'll show, hopefully, this week. We'll find out what kind of team we really have when we play against Green Bay. You see a strip sack fumble coming? Well, I hope so. What we really need, though, is our defense, they're not giving up points. They're bending, they're not breaking. But what we really need to do is we need to get more turnovers. We need to get some takeaways. That's the one thing that's missing on there. If we could get one or two more a game, it would be lights out. That's a warning on me, Mark? Okay. Oh, we will definitely bounce back. Ban Mark Joseph. Okay, yeah, ban me from my channel. Okay, we'll just sit here with the camera on Joe Boo for an hour. How about that? I can't answer that one, Mario, why they didn't play Pollard or Wilson last night. Like I said, it just seemed like I'm not sure what the plan was last night. I wish I knew. And I agree with you, Dallas Cowboys for life. #1 seed is the goal. I would love to see that. But we got a tough road to hoe. We've got to play, of course, New England, and we're going to find out. Here's an interesting thing here because, I know New England got the win against Buffalo yesterday, but you have to look back at Tom Brady's numbers. He had 150 yards and like a 40-something QBR. Is New England really as good as everybody thinks? Because, again, the first 3 games, first 3 teams they played, like us, were teams that didn't win jack. So now all of a sudden you start looking at it and saying, yeah, they got a great defense, but their offense might not be quite as good as you think. Did the Steelers actually score? Oh, my goodness.
Yes, they did.
Wow. They should give them a victory just because they scored. Well, here's what they're actually looking at. Okay, Cam Fleming is actually the backup for Tyron Smith. But and this will be interesting to watch when they get back to practice on Wednesday, because it may be the best man available. Because what you might see is Xavier Salafalo, you might see Looney Tunes out there. You may see somebody else also filling in there at tackle. They may try and see if somebody else is better than Cam Fleming. And little touchdown. Thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Could be worse. Could be a Bengals fan. There you go. Dave, I think we definitely played conservative. It is hard to hear, and so if you're doing a whole lot of changing up of the plays and things at the line of scrimmage, it's hard to. Yeah, that's why you get the Bengals and Steelers going in the background. No, actually, I'm kind of worn out from the weekend. We did a lot of work getting ready for our. Sorry. We did a whole lot of work getting ready for the football party on last night and stuff, and it was like I was up all night pulling pork and everything, and just kind of trying to get the finishing touches done, doing the honey-do list and things. It was just a lot of work. I'm glad we got everything together. The house is nice and clean. The man cave's together, so it'll be easy next week for Green Bay. David, yeah, Patriots do struggle a couple games a year. Hopefully they'll struggle against us.
But didn't Dak Prescott say to beat Tom Brady? A couple years ago, he said to beat Tom Brady.
Well, let's hope that we do. Okay, I think that was all main things I had to touch tonight. But I am a little bit beat. Do I think Austin fits in our offense? Well, all of them will fit if we can use them and they stay healthy. Hazel, I still believe. I still believe in play action. To me, you look at Dak Prescott. Dak is better in space. Dak is better on the move. Dak is better when you do play action, when you can hold the safety for a few seconds. And I don't think that game is necessarily as some people say, Dak just sucks. No, it was just one of those games that you go in there and you just get slapped, and it doesn't matter what you try and do. That other team has just got it on you. And I'm not going to go ahead and say that the team stinks. The team has work to do. And nobody wins them all. So with that being said, y'all, it is time to turn off the lights because this party is over. And we will be back, of course, because, I'm always here. I'm always here. Win, lose, or draw. You can always count on that unless I'm dead. So if you don't see me here, it's because I'm dead or unconscious or both. So cheer up. Understand it's just one game. And in my mind, it was actually kind of cool today because I saw somebody actually use this. I told you guys, break the season down into quarters. 4 games. To make the playoffs, we need 10-6. So 2 of those quarters, we need to be 3-1. The other 2, we can be 2-2. Right now, we got one of the 3-1s out the way. We get one more quarter with 3-1. All we got to do is go 500 the rest of the way. So stop jumping off the bandwagon. Stop losing your mind. Don't worry. Be happy. Because the Cowboys, relax. We're going to be fine. I messed that up, guys. So I messed that up. I hit the wrong button. So we're going to turn off the lights now.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.